understanding is you have new test results.
Oh, we got a lot of new stuff. Yeah, we got a lot of new stuff.
Okay.
And the first thing that I want to talk about is something that's frankly pretty offensive. Let's go back in time. She was arrested Thursday night at the border and transported down to Pierce County. She got there after midnight, so they couldn't arraign her the next day. Pierce County Prosecutor's Office thought the better of it and released her Friday night, about 11:47. Before that could happen, a Detective Wilson from Puyallup PD executed a search warrant on her blood at about 7 a.m. One might call that an invasive search warrant. This isn't kicking a door and looking under your couch. You would expect that something prudent would have been done with that blood, would you not? I am not at liberty to say how I know this. That blood was just put on a shelf, put in a desk. I want you to imagine this. And it's now a ruined sample. That's the quality of the investigation that's ongoing by Puyallup PD. Yes, we did send her out for a new blood test. The blood test concluded undetected for hepatitis C virus. I don't yet have that in writing, but I know I have it from the lab, and I'll get it in writing.
Does that mean she does not have?
That means she does not have Hep C. Now I will also tell you that there is something called an antibody. Just because you have the antibody does not mean you have hepatitis C. Over 5% of the population walks around with this antibody. There's no issue. They've never even been exposed to Hep C. And it's a mystery how you do get exposed to Hep C anyway, if you read the literature. And we're going to have expert witnesses that'll go into this entire area. But yeah, that's what it says, undetected for the hepatitis C virus. At the press conference that we had some weeks back, all the Department of Health had to do was call the Red Cross. That's all they had to do. What they would have found is that my client's a pretty civic-minded person. Beginning 2003, she donated blood 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. She donated blood through 2013, August 13, 2013. Every single time she donated blood, her blood was tested. Hepatitis C, non-reactive. By the way, this is a hepatitis C virus antibody. Non-reactive, also for B, hepatitis B. All the way through 2013, I've got verification. She wasn't even reactive for the antibody. But probably the most offensive thing that we've found is, and I want you to go back to the news conference that we had at the end of April, the Department of Health filed an action against Cora's license. And I want you to remember some of the comments they made in that petition that they filed against her license. This is a memo on Department of Health stationery. 2, Nursing Care Quality Assurance Commission, from Jean Pingle. You'll recall that name because it was on the action against her license. Healthcare investigator, dated April 19, 2018. Ray, regarding Cora Weberg. Here are the findings that they had with a telephone conversation with the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. The 2 patients are linked with 96% accuracy. It is a very high degree of probability the patients have a common source. Now, go back to the end of April. We had 2 patients who had contracted Hep C. So what they're saying is, no question, those 2 are a common source. They're related. The respondent was positive for Hep C with antibody. So that's the positive reaction I've spoken about. Doesn't mean anything. And RNA negative. That's the critical issue. Here's the statement I want to read loud and clear. There is almost no chance to link the respondent with the patients, except that she's the only nurse common to both patients. Now, you remember what that petition said. it's directly contrary to that statement. And so to me, what the real story is, I'd love to have some answers from the Department of Health. I'd love to have some answers from Detective Wilson when he writes in his arrest warrant, his statement for probable cause to arrest. It's my belief that Cora did these things. I want to know, let's pony up the information. Am I missing something here? What they did have time to do was no investigation and slander my client. They had plenty of time to do that. They just didn't have time to look into the facts. These are the facts, which, by the way, were very easy to obtain.
How is Cora now? What is she doing?
Cora's seeing a counselor. Cora has bad days. Most of them are good, but she has lows. There's no question about it. I just talked to her. Today's a good day.
She must be happy with these results.
Of course she's happy with these results. She's hoping and praying that she doesn't have Hep C, and in her heart of hearts doesn't believe she ever transmitted anything to anyone.
Do you believe she'll ever face any criminal charges related to this?
Cora Weberg's an honest person, and on being contacted by the Department of Health, told them she tried to kill herself 3 times with drugs that she took from a trash bin. She's going to probably be prosecuted for that. No contest. She should, at that time, receive the same benefits an anonymous defendant would, who's not in the media. Maybe drug court. How about mental health court? We'll fight that battle when and if it comes. But apart from a very minor drug charge, I would be astounded if the prosecutor's office, and there's good prosecutors on this case, I know them all, I'd be astounded if they evaluated this case and found sufficient cause to go forward on what really the egregious case is all about, and that's the Hep C issue.
That's all I have.
Thank you for pursuing both sides of the story. I sincerely appreciate it.
It is an interesting one.
You imagine? So, what's offensive to me? You're asking. I think it was you at the police press conference who kind of stopped it and said, "Hold on, did you just say?" It was either you or Keith Eldridge. I'm not sure
One of us,
which.
yeah. We all thought it.
And they knew. I mean, they knew that they couldn't link her. It's in their own memo dated April 19. Well, you know, what in the world?
You good rolling?
Yep.
Okay. Can you shut that down? I don't know what Tom's doing.
Okay.